Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for coming this morning. Let's come into a comfortable place on your mats. However you get there is great. If you like to lie down, you can lie down. If you like to sit up, you can sit up. And let the body just become acquainted with the sensation of ground for a few moments. And bring all of your attention to that contact with the earth. And as you let the earth receive you, begin to receive everything that's coming up for you this morning on a somatic level as much as possible. Just start to sense energy moving in the body. Sense the inside of your chest, the inside of your belly. Sense the inside of your palms. Fingertips. And tap into the felt sense of breath. And really drop inside your body. And as the earth continues to receive this body, begin to receive from the earth the qualities of earth. You might sense a certain stability, a calmness, a sturdiness, and some nurturing qualities. Feel into the weight of the legs a little bit more, and the weight of the pelvis, the weight of the entire body, the weight of the arms. And invite the silence within. Take another in-breath together and an out-breath together. And slowly start to make your way into some movements, eventually allowing the body to stretch a little. make our way slowly to your side if you're reclined, and up into a meditative seated position facing this side of the room. As you bring the palms to heart space, you might join them at the heart or stack them on top of the torso. And coming together and bringing all of our attention together to this moment and the next and the next and the next. Pure presence. And noticing together the palpable experience of presence. And in reverence to that, we open the practice with the sound of Om, a cleansing breath together. Inhale, exhale, inhale, As you slowly open your eyes, relax your arms and begin to just make fists with your hands to just circle your wrists through a few times, preparing the wrists for any weight-bearing postures that we do together. And then expand the arms overhead, find a bit of an expansion in the side body. And take a few motions around the shoulders just to bring in some lubrication to these shoulder joints. And in the other direction. Take your way slowly, eventually into a table pose. And take a few arching and curling of the spine motions so that we can also start to get into the spine. And invite your body to be free here and fluid. So that maybe some rocking of the tailbone side to side comes to you, or some shifting back and forth. Feeling into the hips as well. So the body will guide you here for the next couple of minutes in some variations in motions. We want to start to allow for those variations. The body might take you into stillness for child pose. Or you might notice that this side body is needing a little bit more attention. Coming back and forth between a child pose maybe and a pressing forward and opening the heart, dropping the hips a little bit, and just starting to kind of accentuate that opening around the heart. Or you might notice that that's way too early for your back, and cat-cow is plenty. After a few moments of this, start to invite your body into a downward facing dog. You might come into down dog for a moment and shift back and forth between plank and down dog, or you might hold the downward dog as you pedal your feet. Here we're exploring a sensation in the back of the legs, as well as in the back of the neck and your entire back body, while at the same time inviting some rocking of the hips side to side. Feel into your hands and the way that they are contacting the ground. Take a breath in and a breath out. And slowly take your right leg up towards the sky with the in-breath. On the out-breath, bring your knee towards your chest, curl. Inhale, lengthen back. And exhale, knee towards the chest. One more time, in-breath. On the out-breath, step forward to come into a warrior one. As you dial the back heel down and lift through the torso, reach those arms overhead. And just make some fists again to circle them through. And eventually, either stack your hands on top of your sacrum or interlace those hands behind the back. Breath in. On the out breath, hinge forward slightly. And then tuck and roll back up so that you're curling and uncurling around the spine. Keep the back heel on the ground and the feet hip distance apart so that it can support you in the balance. And stay firmly rooted in both feet. That rootedness will be your anchor throughout all motions, like the roots of a tree. Nice. Open it up slowly into your warrior two. And once again, some repetitive motions of, this time, side body stretches, inhaling as you reverse your warrior, and exhaling as you come into a side angle. And just kind of alternating between the two. Repetitive motions that have the quality of water to them. The water element is now moving through your body, and at the same time, the earth element is supporting your foundation. Let's take a couple more in breaths and out breaths. And the next time that you reverse your warrior, elongate through that right leg. Breath in. And on the breath out, return back to a runner lunge. So you're going to kind of stick with them. I'm mirroring them. That gets a little confusing. I'm sorry. And take your way back into downward facing dog. So as you expand your hips up and back, shake the head no and yes. And shift forward to come into your plank pose. Find that strength of your core as you pull the navel in and up, press the floor away. Engage your quads and glutes muscles. Breathe it in and breathe it out. 2 more breaths in and out. Now lower the knees to the ground and let the chest lower just halfway through as you bend the elbows and dial them in. And then all the way to the earth, preparing for your baby cobra. Engage the legs, activate the feet into the ground and lift your chest, drawing those elbows back and hands off the ground for a strong activity in the mid-back and upper back. Press yourself back up through to downward dog. And as you find that length in the spine, notice the relationship between that and an open heart. And the left leg slowly rises up, breath in. On the breath out, knee comes to the chest as you curl. Inhale, lengthen it back. And exhale, knee to the chest. Last time, breath in. And on the breath out, step forward for warrior 1. Feet are hip distance apart. Back foot is facing a bit more forward. And you start to either interlace the hands again behind the back or stacking hands on top of sacrum. And beginning with that back and forth hinging and curling back up, repetitive motions just to continue with that warm up. Let's take it 3 more times. Breath in and breath out. All the while we are directing our attention to the sensations in the body and the feel of that spine as it waves, and the feels of that detangling that's happening inside the belly. Beautiful. Breath in as you reach those arms overhead. On the breath out, a warrior 2. And then continuing to take that back and forth, elongating through and bending knee and coming into side ankle. Each time around, you're noticing what it's like to have the breath be patient and to hold the breath tenderly so that you're not overexerting yourself, maintaining a calm along the nervous system. The next time that you inhale and reverse the warrior, elongate the front leg and feel into the rootedness as you reach upwards. And then slowly come on through back into a runner lunge. And stepping back to a downward facing dog. Take a breath in and a breath out. Shift forward to come into plank pose. Hold the plank for 3, 2, and 1. Next, you can either release the knees to lower down halfway or keep the knees lifted to come into Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhaling either baby cobra or upward facing dog. And exhaling back to your downward facing dog. Now, slowly starting to bring awareness to the fluidity of the breath despite the static pose. Waves of breath. And we bend the knees to press the hips back as you look forward. Inhale. On the exhale, walk or float forward, coming into a forward fold. Maybe grabbing a hold of opposite elbows so that the weight of the torso can feel a bit more weighted down. Or you might decide that this is too much on your back and you'd rather bend your knees and stack your elbows on top of your thighs so that you have some support here for your back. Notice if your feet are shallow in the ground and see if you can kind of lift and separate your toes and then find the balls of the feet and dig them into the earth as you drape your toes back down. Long in breaths and out breaths. And we gently and slowly roll upwards to standing. Taking the arms overhead with the in-breath. And on the out-breath, find a chair pose, sinking down. And try not to tilt your tailbone so far back, but maintain a neutral pelvis. The hands can either be at the chest or they can extend forward. Relaxed shoulders for 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, 2 arms reach overhead. Exhale, bow, forward fold. In a half lift. Out, plant the palms, step back to downward facing dog. Staying in down dog or shifting forward for a plank pose to take your vinyasa through, either with the knees on the ground or not. Maybe even some push-ups in between if that calls to you. All of us meeting back in downward facing dog. Deep breath in and breath out, no rush. Making it your own pace. And we slowly reach the right leg up to the sky, breath in. On the breath out, the knee comes towards the chest, curl. Inhale, lengthen it back. And on the exhale, stepping forward for your warrior 1 again. Torso rises, strong, active feet, arms reach, breath in. On the breath out, a warrior 2. Inhale and reverse your warrior. On the exhale, a side angle lunge. 1 more in breath as you reverse your warrior. On the out breath, cartwheel the hands through to step back in downward facing dog. Staying in down dog or shifting forward for plank to hold or to vinyasa through back to downward facing dog. As we arrive back to downward dog, take a breath in and a breath out. Left leg rises up, breath in. On the breath out, knee to the chest, curl it. Inhale, lengthen back. And step forward, warrior one. Rooted feet, strong legs, strong core. Breath in, rise. Breath out, warrior two. Inhale and reverse it. Exhale into a side angle. Inhale, come back through and reverse it. Exhale, cartwheel it through to down dog. Or you'll take that vinyasa through once you get to down dog. Deep breath in. Long breath out. 2 more times. Beautiful. Right leg rises to the sky with the in-breath. This time the knee bends to dial the hip open with strong activity in that right hand. As you square the hips, elongate the leg back, breath in. On the breath out, knee comes towards the chest and steps forward for your crescent lunge. Rising up with the feet hip distance apart, you're balancing on the back foot and you're tucking that pelvis under a bit. Reach the left arm up towards the sky with the in-breath. On the out-breath, find a side bend again. Come back through with the in-breath. On the out-breath, take your time to dip down and then rise back up. Dip down and rise back up for 3 more. 2 more. And last one. From here, take your left arm back up and see if you can hinge forward to take that wrist up and over the thigh or the forearm up and over the thigh. Some of us might walk the back foot further back and take the full elbow up and over the thigh. See which one feels better on your body and take care of your spine here. And try not to collapse into your joints. For 3, 2, and 1. Slowly release the palms back down to the ground. Now coming into a runner lunge. Maybe walking that back foot a bit more back. And then shift that right leg up and back in a 3-legged dog. This time potentially flipping your dog if it's available and feels good on your body. As you come back through, you're going to re-reach that right leg up towards the sky. Breath in. On the breath out, the knee comes back through towards the chest. You step it forward, dialing back heel down for warrior two. Feel the warrior two on this leg, then switch legs to come into warrior two on the other leg. So your left knee is going to bend, and you're going to face the back wall with your left foot for warrior two. From here, reverse the warrior, breath in. On the breath out, come into a triangle pose and let yourself hinge through to side angle, then expand the left leg in a triangle so that you're not really collapsing into your hips. From triangle pose, all you're going to do is re-bend that left knee for side angle. Good. Placing your elbow on top of it. And breathe for 3. Relaxed shoulders. 2. And 1. Rise back up through to the center. Come into a wide-legged stance and a wide-legged forward fold as you bow forward. Hinge from the hips and relax your neck and your shoulders. Breath in and breath out. Now come on up into a halfway lift with the in-breath. With the out-breath, walk your hands back towards your right foot. Find that runner lunge. And keeping your left hand on the ground, find your way into another twist, elongated back leg. Take a breath in and a breath out. A block under the left hand might feel lovely. Listen up. From here, we're going to come into balance on the right leg for Ardha Chandrasana half moon. So you're going to release the right hand. If you have a water bottle or a block, you place it in front of your right foot. Shift your weight into it and start to stack that left hip on top of the right, while extending the top leg for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release the left foot next to the right into a forward fold and relax. Notice the difference between the legs, maybe pedaling and rocking hips side to side. Breathing it in and breathing it out. And slowly taking your time to roll back up. You might support yourself with your hands on your thighs as you roll up. 2 arms reach overhead, breath in. On the breath out, a chair pose again. Sinking down, neutral pelvis. Feet fully grounded, torso relaxed, shoulders relaxed. Sinking a little deeper for 3, 2, 1. Rise back up, breath in. On the breath out, bow, forward fold. In a half lift. Out, stepping back to downward facing dog. Stay in down dog or shift forward to hold plank for 5 breaths. Back to down dog or chaturanga vinyasa through. Take it in and take it out. Let the torso be heavy. Your shoulders relax down the back. And the left leg slowly rises up with the in-breath as you bend the knee to dial the hip open. Squaring the hips with the in-breath. On the out-breath, knee comes to the chest. And you step forward for your crescent lunge on the other side. Feet are hip distance apart. Modification here is to just keep the back knee on the ground. Reach the right arm up towards the sky. Keep rooting down firmly to lift higher up. Coming back through and taking those dips up and down. Back down and lift, in breath, out breath, dip. In and out. We'll do 2 more. Good. And then taking that right arm back up again and hinging to take it into a twist. So again, if you liked going a little deeper in that twist, you could take the elbow up and over, or either the forearm or the wrist, depending on how high you want that twist. For 3, 2, and 1. Returning back through to the center, plant your palms alongside the foot and extend this foot up and back in a 3-legged dog, potentially flipping your dog this time around. Coming back through, maintaining the length in that left leg, reached upwards, breath in. On the breath out, you step forward again for warrior 2. Dial back, heel down, root down, and open up. Feel into it for a moment, inhale. And on the exhale, switch legs for warrior 2 on the other side. From here, coming into your triangle pose. For 3, 2, and 1. Simply bend the knee for side angle, planting your elbow on top, or maybe your forearm or your hand is on top of the thigh. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rise back up. Both feet face the wide edge of the mat into a wide-legged forward fold again. And this time, in your wide-legged forward fold, if you have a block, place it underneath your face. If not, then just place your hand or fist under your face, your right hand. Take your left hand to your left hip, come up into a halfway lift, and then twist towards the left. Now, that left hand can either stay here or extend upwards. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Take it to the other side. Take care that your wrist is stacked underneath your shoulder when you twist, so that your left shoulder isn't collapsing out of being stacked on top of the wrist. For 3, 2, and 1. Relax in a wide-legged fold for a few breaths in and out. Take your time to rise up into a small halfway lift and walk your hands over to your left foot into a runner lunge. From here, we're going to situate our feet hip distance to take that twist again to the left. Deep in breath, long out breath. One more time. And as you release the hands, starting to prepare for that Ardha Chandrasana half moon, find that foot centration underneath you and start to slowly stack the hips. Maybe a block under the left hand. For 3, 2, and 1. Land the foot next to the other. Relax in a forward fold. And potentially even start to get that belly a little closer to the thighs as you bend your knees. Maybe wrapping your arms around your legs and planting your fingertips underneath your heels. Deep in-breath. Long out-breath. 2 more. Slowly release the hands, activate the feet firm into the earth, and slowly sink into the hips, down for chair pose. Now with this chair pose, we're going to take a chair twist. After all these twists, we should be ready. You could even bring your left hand to the inner left thigh or left forearm as you twist. Or you can take it up and over the right thigh. For 3, 2, and 1. Back to the center and to the other side. Either to the inner leg or to the outer other leg. To twist for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back to chair. Hold it with me for another 5 breaths. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hallelujah. We did it. Good. Shake up the legs a little. Maybe a drink. Now we're going to take a balance pose that's going to stretch our glutes and outer thighs. It's going to feel really good. Unless balance is a challenge for you, then it might not. All right, let's shift the weight into the right foot. Find that full foot centration on the ground. So you're like, what I mean by centration is you want to like lift and separate your toes and then grab a hold of the ground with your ball of the big toe, ball of the little toe, and then release those toes as if you're having like this suction cupping to the ground. Then engage your entire right leg. Find the neutral pelvis so that it's not out of whack. That's going to get you out of your balance. And once you feel sturdy, start to lift that left leg off the ground. Palms together usually are more helpful for balance. And you can cross your left ankle on top of your right thigh. either staying here or hinging back and drawing the chest forward for a bit of a stretch. Ooh. Never tried that, Will. That's cool. Yeah, so you could even take your hands and interlace them underneath your right thigh and kind of pull up slightly as you dig your other leg into your thigh. Yeah, it's a really cool stretch. Thank you for the inspiration. Breath in. And on the breath out, rise out of the pose. Take that foot and kind of plant it behind you and just rock your heel side to side a bit. Getting into your ankle. And then definitely shake it up. And then we're going to take the same thing to the other side, taking it step by step. And again, finding that foot centration, the glutes engaged. That's going to support your balance. The digging into the earth, that neutral spine. And once you feel stable and connected, take care that you have a drishti, a point of focus on the ground in front of you to look at. And then go to your degree of the stretch. Again, the palms together is the most straightforward because it pulls you in and it keeps you focused. But if you want to take other variations, that's always welcome. For 3, 2, and 1, rising out of the pose and stretching that other ankle back and forth. Good. Let's come on back a little to the middle of your mat. And I'm just going to demonstrate a crow pose really quickly. So to come into crow, we're just going to bring the feet a little bit closer together, heels in, and hug the outer part of the arms as much as you can, while you also hug the arms into the legs. So there is this traction between the two. If you place your hands here, it's going to be really hard to come into crow. So we're going to place the hands further out and then really just focus on hugging and shifting forward as much as you can. So don't even think about lifting the legs. Just shift forward as much as you can. At some point, that shift forward will eventually help you lift those feet off the ground. Keep your core super strong, your gaze forward, and your face facing down versus looking up. Okay? Let's try it together. So sinking down into a squat, bringing the feet a little bit closer, hugging in the upper arms, planting the hands more forward than you think so that you have room to lift the hips and hinge forward. The more you hinge forward, keep your gaze on the ground, potentially bringing the toes together. Slowly coming out of it. Good job. Sit back on the ground. And let's give some love into those wrists. Ouch, right? Just stretch them down and up. Circle them through. Yeah, I like that too. That's kind of nice. Yeah, anything that you want to do with your wrists to give them some love. Shake them up too. The shaking of the wrists is very relieving to the wrists. Get into your shoulders also a little bit more. Good. Wonderful. Let's take our time and come into a Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet come together, knees separate. This is a really beautiful pose to just stay here for a bit and just feel the stretching in the hips. If you have a lot of opening in your hips, you might like the feeling of hinging forward, even grabbing a hold of the mat to press your hips back into the earth and kind of ground yourself. So what you're doing is you're pressing the mat forward while the hips are pressing down. And let the arms soften now, let the shoulders soften. And let yourself come back to that feel of gravity, that pull of gravity. Regathering the breath, evening it out. One more in-breath. And out breath. Slowly come on out of the pose. Let's take our way through into some twisting motions. Take the feet to the outside edges of the mat. And what we're going to do here is to kind of tilt both legs over to the right and make a kickstand with your back hand and twist to the back of the room. So you're going to try not to separate your legs too far apart for this. Coming back through and to the other side. And do it a couple more times on each side. Nice. Coming back through to the front. We'll make our way into a seated twist. So you can either wrap your legs like this with this right foot in front of your shin, or you might like the feeling of going further by taking that foot up and over the thigh and twisting. So what I care most about is that you have both sits bones still on the ground, so you're not kind of having to lift off one sits bone. And you can take any arm variations. You might expand your right arm to the back, or you might lengthen it down to the ground for a kickstand. Some of us might even want to grab onto the shin or the foot and extend through that right leg. One more in-breath. And on the out, take it to the other side. Setting it up, either in front of the shin or on top of the thigh. One side might be tighter than the other, you'll notice. Both sits bones firmly planted, long spine. And then any variations from here. One more in-breath. On the out-breath, return to center. And we'll take it into pigeon pose on the right side. Prone pigeon on the right side looks like this. Extended leg all the way back. Reclined pigeon on the right side looks like this. Grabbing a hold of that leg, like we did in standing, and decide which one is your favorite for today. Some of us will take another variation yet, either seated or double pigeon. As you settle into the pose, now is the time to really start to go inwards, so that you are reconnecting with your breath and holding the breath very, very gently. And you're letting go of the tension in your shoulders as much as you can. And you're sensing into your belly and letting go of any held tension in that belly. And again, finding that silence that's in the background of all sound, and invoking the permeation of silence within your body so that you can start to feel it inside yourself. Where is silence in relation to your body? And hold it close. And let it embrace and meet all of the activities that arise within, whether they be thoughts or emotions or sensations. Take a breath in, and on the breath out, slowly rise out of the pose. And transition to the other side. You might encounter some stretches in between that feel really good to you. Eventually arriving back to the second side of pigeon. Once again, meeting that sensation of stillness within yourself. You might have a feel of a containment, like a feeling of safety being wrapped around and held. Or it might have a sensation of an expansive presence. An aware knowing. It shows up in different ways. And let the silence marry the activity that is in your body. There's this merging, meeting, holding, embrace. So that all emotions, all thoughts, all activity is welcomed and allowed within the allowing space that you are. One more deep breath in. And a breath out. And we'll start to slowly come out of the pose, making your way eventually onto your backs, but also taking any stretches in between. And if everybody could have their heads be on this side, on towards the mirrors, and their legs to the back. That way we can make sure we're all maintaining the right distancing. As you arrive onto your backs, I want you to take any motion that feels appropriate to take on your back today. Some of us will really love to come into bridge pose to access those hip flexors a bit and open the heart some more. Others might really enjoy a reclining twist. And you might do one and then the other. Happy baby is always an option, and so is legs upwards with a block supporting your sacrum. If you took a posture on your back that is on one side, take care to take it on the other side as well. Eventually arriving onto your backs for Shavasana. And once again checking in to see if the body needs containment or more of a feel of spaciousness and freedom. And if it does feel like it needs some kind of containment, you can place your hands on your belly or chest. And if an expansiveness is desired, there is this opportunity to open the palms towards the heavens. Let your arms be heavy against the ground and rest. And as you go inside again, let the expansiveness be felt now on the inside. Notice how no matter how far inwards you go, that it is infinite, actually. A whole universe. And similarly, if you direct your attention outward, the expansion outward and upward is also infinite. And let yourself lose yourself for a bit, just to kind of merge with space. And you can always balance the opening with the grounding. Every single part of you is welcome here, in this healing space. Of stillness and silence. Om Sachidananda Parabrahma Purushottama Paramatma Shri Bhagavati Sametha Shri Bhagavate Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Take a breath in and a breath out. And very gently start to move your body to reawaken your senses. You might remain reclined for the close of our practice together today, or if you'd like to roll over onto your side to eventually come up into a meditative seat, you can do that. And then taking your time to slowly bring the hands back towards the heart. And finding the serenity within yourself. May this sense of serenity be felt by all beings. All around the planet. And we close together with the sound of Om. First, a cleansing breath. Inhale. I thank you for allowing me to teach you today. The Great Spirit in me bows to this Great Spirit in you. Namaste. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everyone. Thank you.